This isn't a tip, it's a warning, because what I'm about to show you doesn't just sharpen your mind. It strips away what makes you normal. You'll start thinking 3 moves ahead. You'll stop trusting people and maybe start using them. This brain hack doesn't just make you powerful, it makes you dangerous. And once you cross that line, you don't come back the same. We live in an empire of noise, a world where the loudest wins, or so it seems. Where influencers broadcast every emotion, every thought, every fake smile. Where leaders mistake transparency for strength. Where algorithms reward those who never shut up. And in that chaos, people forgot something ancient. Something older than politics, older than civilization. A weapon hiding in plain sight. Silence. Not absence, not shyness, not weakness, but strategic silence. The kind used by kings, spies, and predators. The kind that doesn't just protect your power, it builds it. Niccolo Machiavelli knew this. And if you're willing to unlearn what society taught you, you'll start to see what he saw. Machiavelli is often remembered for his explicit advice in The Prince. Manipulate, dominate, deceive, if necessary. But what most people miss, what hides between his sentences, is the space where he says nothing. You see, speech creates appearances. Silence preserves reality. The vulgar crowd is always taken by appearances, he wrote. He understood the illusion of power, and that silence helps maintain that illusion better than any lie ever could. When you speak, you reveal. When you reveal, you give others a target. When you're silent, they guess, they speculate, and often they fear. Machiavelli lived in a world where one wrong word could get you tortured or exiled. But even today, in our softer, safer world, careless speech still kills, just in slower, subtler ways. In our modern society, the noise of constant communication is inescapable. Social media platforms have transformed the way we interact, encouraging us to share every moment of our lives, from mundane daily activities to significant milestones. This incessant sharing creates a culture where updates are expected and silence can feel like a void. The pressure to stay connected and relevant often leads individuals to post frequently, resulting in a barrage of information that can be overwhelming. This constant noise can have profound effects on personal and professional relationships. In friendships, the expectation to share and respond immediately can lead to misunderstandings and feelings of inadequacy. People may feel compelled to curate their lives for an audience, rather than engaging in genuine connections. In the workplace, the pressure to be constantly available and responsive can blur the lines between work and personal life, leading to burnout and decreased productivity. Moreover, the rise of performative transparency complicates this landscape. This concept refers to the tendency to share personal experiences or opinions not for authentic connection, but to gain validation or social capital. While transparency can foster trust, performative transparency often results in superficial interactions, where the focus shifts from meaningful dialogue to the pursuit of likes and shares. As we navigate this noisy environment, it's crucial to recognize the implications of our communication habits and consider the value of intentional silence amidst the clamor. Strategic silence refers to the intentional use of silence as a communication tool to enhance understanding, create intrigue, and maintain control in conversations. In a world where words often dominate interactions, embracing silence can be a powerful strategy. It allows individuals to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This deliberate choice to remain silent can convey confidence and authority, signaling to others that you are in control of the conversation. Silence can be particularly effective in various situations. For instance, during negotiations, a well-timed pause after a proposal can create tension, prompting the other party to fill the void with concessions or additional information. Similarly, in a presentation, Allowing a moment of silence after sharing a compelling statistic can give the audience time to absorb the information, making it more impactful. In personal relationships, silence can also serve as a powerful tool. For example, when a friend shares a difficult experience, responding with silence rather than immediate advice can demonstrate empathy and understanding, allowing them to feel heard and validated. By recognizing the role of strategic silence in communication, we can harness its potential to foster deeper connections, enhance our influence, and create more meaningful exchanges. In a society that often prioritizes noise over substance, embracing silence can set us apart and lead to more effective communication. Listening is a fundamental component of strategic silence, and its importance cannot be overstated. When we truly listen, we enhance our understanding of others and build stronger rapport in our relationships. Active listening goes beyond simply hearing words. It involves engaging with the speaker, acknowledging their feelings, and responding thoughtfully. This practice fosters a sense of trust and connection, making others feel valued and understood. Silence plays a crucial role in effective listening. By allowing moments of quiet, we create space for deeper observation and analysis. When we pause to listen, we can pick up on nonverbal cues such as body language and tone, which often convey more than words alone. This heightened awareness enables us to grasp the full context of conversation, leading to more meaningful interactions. To cultivate the power of listening, it's essential to practice active listening in our daily interactions. This means putting away distractions, maintaining eye contact, and resisting the urge to interrupt. Instead of formulating our responses while the other person is speaking, we should focus entirely on their message. By doing so, we not only demonstrate respect, but also open ourselves up to new perspectives and insights. Encouraging viewers to embrace active listening can transform their communication skills and relationships. Silence can be a powerful strategic weapon in various scenarios, often leading to unexpected success. Throughout history, there are numerous examples where silence has played a pivotal role. For instance, during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, President John F. Kennedy opted for a period of silence and careful deliberation rather than rushing into a decision. This strategic pause allowed for thoughtful negotiation and ultimately averted a potential nuclear conflict. In negotiations, for example, a negotiator who remains silent after making a proposal can pressure the other party to respond, often leading to concessions or compromises that favor the silent party. Encouraging viewers to consider when silence might be their best option can be transformative. Whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or competitive environments, strategic silence can provide clarity, enhance influence, and foster deeper connections. By recognizing the power of silence, individuals can learn to wield it effectively, turning what is often perceived as a void into a strategic advantage. Every word you speak is a cost, a trade, a gamble, and most people are terrible at gambling. Speech creates commitments. When you say what you're going to do, people expect you to do it. Change your mind later? You look weak, inconsistent, dishonest. But if you say nothing, you move when you're ready. You adapt without apology, and no one sees it coming. Cost number 2, speech reveals your mind. The more you explain, the more they see how you think, your logic, your patterns, your limitations. And once they know how you think, they know how to beat you. As Machiavelli warned, the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. And I'd add, the second method is to listen to how much he talks and how little he says. Cost number 3, speech destroys mystique. Mystery is magnetic. People fear what they don't understand and respect what they can't quite read. The leader who shares every thought becomes ordinary, but the one who holds back, they create distance, and from that distance comes power. Not all silence is created equal. Machiavellian silence is active, intentional, precise. There are three kinds, and each one serves a different purpose. Information gathering silence. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally, Machiavelli said. The fool talks first. They reveal their position. They expose their ego. They leak their weaknesses. The wise person, they wait. They watch. They collect information before giving anything away. In negotiations, this is the power of the pause. Whoever speaks first loses. In conflict, this is the advantage of restraint. When you speak less, others reveal more, because they need to fill the void. In relationships, this explains why those who listen more understand more. In war, it's reconnaissance. You don't fire the first shot unless you know exactly where the enemy stands. Authority building silence. Power is partly perception, and perception can be manipulated. The fox doesn't roar, the lion doesn't explain, and the ruler doesn't debate with peasants. When a leader only speaks selectively, when they respond to criticism only when it matters, their words carry more weight. Their silence becomes a signal of superiority. This is why junior employees ramble in meetings. But the CEO just says, "Let's move forward," and the room listens. The overtalker seeks validation. The silent one grants it. Ambiguity preserving silence. Clarity is comfortable, but clarity is also dangerous, because when you're clear, you're cornered. Everyone knows where you stand, and that means they can plan around you or against you. But when you're silent, people project. They fill the gap with their own hopes, fears, and assumptions. The result? You become everything and nothing at the same time. Politicians do this all the time. They say just enough to be interpreted differently by every audience. Negotiators keep options open by never fully committing. Leaders inspire with vision, but stay vague on the details. This isn't deception, it's strategic ambiguity, and it works. We've talked strategy. Now let's talk psychology, because silence doesn't just manipulate the external world. It changes the internal game too. It rewires how people perceive you, how they feel around you, and how you feel about yourself. Silence creates projection. Humans are uncomfortable with unknowns. We crave explanations, even if they're wrong. When someone is silent, we invent a story to explain that silence. And that story usually says more about us than about them. Machiavelli said, "Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims." But here's the twist. If you remain silent, they deceive themselves. The interrogator leaves a question hanging. The suspect cracks under the pressure, not from words, but from absence. The negotiator says nothing, and the other side panics, talking themselves into concessions. The partner in a relationship pauses, and their silence screams louder than any argument could. Because people don't just fear what you say, they fear what you might be thinking. Silence establishes dominance. Whoever needs the interaction more speaks first. It's basic status psychology. The subordinate fills the space. The dominant controls it. That's why in primal hierarchies, the leader speaks last. They observe, they assess, and when they speak, it's decisive. In job interviews, candidates who ask sharp, deliberate questions often outperform those who overtalk. In meetings, the person who listens then delivers a surgical comment often dominates the room. In debates, the one who doesn't take every bait wins through restraint. Because when you speak less, each word becomes a weapon. And when you speak only when it matters, your silence becomes sacred. Silence builds mystique. Let me ask you this. Who's more intimidating? The man who tells you everything he thinks, or the one who just looks at you without blinking? The one who explains all his moves, or the one who plays in shadows and smiles without speaking? Machiavelli understood that appearances control behavior. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, he said, because what's visible can be shaped, and what's hidden can be feared. Mystery is magnetic. It invites curiosity, speculation, admiration, even obsession. Silence is the fog that hides your movements, magnifies your power, and protects your mind from invasion. Still think this is just theory? Let's look at some masters of the art. Julius Caesar. When he crossed the Rubicon, he said nothing. His silence was deafening. It echoed across Rome like a war cry. He didn't announce his plans. He simply acted. That moment marked the death of the Republic and the rise of the Empire. Not because of what he said, but because of what he didn't. Queen Elizabeth I. She was courted by kings, pressured to marry, urged to declare allegiances. But she stayed vague. She delayed. She withheld. Her silence made her unpredictable. And that unpredictability kept her throne. Every suitor, every rival, every enemy projected their hopes or fears onto her ambiguity. And she ruled them all. Napoleon Bonaparte. He understood timing better than anyone. In the heat of battle, he often stayed silent as his generals panicked. He let their anxiety reveal where they were weak. Then he struck, not just with armies, but with psychological dominance. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake, he famously said. Let them talk. Let them overreach. Let them bleed out through their own noise. Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai, before battles, he often remained motionless, silent, no threats, no taunts, just stillness. He let fear grow in his opponents, let their minds unravel. Then, with one precise move, he ended it. Musashi didn't just master the sword. He mastered the space before the strike. That's where the real battle happened. Now, let's bring it back to you, because this isn't just about emperors and spies. It's about how you move through the world. If you want to be respected, speak less. If you want to be underestimated, speak carelessly. But if you want to be feared, followed, and remembered, master strategic silence. Use it to observe, to gather leverage, to protect your intentions. But above all, use it to confuse, to unnerve, to bend reality in your favor. Speak only when your words are stronger than your silence. And when in doubt, say nothing. But don't mistake silence for inaction. Don't confuse withholding with weakness. This isn't passivity. It's preparation. You are collecting data, watching patterns, calculating risks. You are studying the battlefield while others are busy performing. And when the moment is right, you strike, not emotionally, not impulsively, but with precision. That is what separates the manipulator from the Machiavellian. The former reacts, the latter orchestrates. From the shadows. If you've made it this far, you're already different, because most people won't make it to the end. They'll get distracted, uncomfortable, offended. But you leaned in. You're not afraid of darkness. You respect it. You want to understand it. That makes you dangerous in the best way. So I'll leave you with this. In a world addicted to noise, the silent one stands out. In a room full of performers, the observer controls the stage. And in an empire of lies, the one who says less sees more. If you felt this, if you saw yourself in it, then join us. Subscribe, comment something below, even just an emoji, so the algorithm knows we're building something here. Something rare. And remember, real power doesn't need to announce itself. It waits, it watches, and when the time comes, it does not miss.